Hello, everybody. Super Bowl 50. It is almost here, and we've been counting the days down. I'm talking today with Ross Benjamin, NFL analyst, and Ross has a nice little outlook on the first half of the Super Bowl. Now, typically, I do a lot of first halves in basketball and football, but this is one I just can't get a feel for, so I'm anxious to hear what Ross likes. The current line right now favors Carolina -3 on the first half, and the total is at 22.5. Ross, first and foremost, and I know you're glad Super Bowl's almost here, where do you find the edge in this first half, and do you have an official pick for us here at SBR?
I do have an official pick, and let's start with the point spread, Mike, and then we'll get your thoughts after that dissertation, and then we'll get into the total. So we're looking at a Carolina team that's gone 3-0 straight up in ATS in their last three games during the first half, and they've just decimated their opponents during that time. In the last three first halves for Carolina, they've outscored the opposition 79-10. And that includes a couple of pretty good playoff opponents in Arizona and Seattle. This is no fluke because this is a Carolina team that's gone 13-2 against the spread in their last 15 games during first half wagering. So
Ooh.
this is a fast starting club, and they're going to be hard to deal with, despite the fact that Denver, I do think, has the better defense in this matchup. Now, having said that, this is also a Denver team in their last four games. They've gone just 1-3 against the spread and 2-2 straight up in the first halves of their last four, and they've only gone 10-8 against the spread in the first half in all 18 games this season, which includes the playoffs. I'm going to have a small lean here on Carolina -3 in the first half over Denver.
Yeah, it's just hard to refute that. And this is in 4 years previous to this year, Peyton Manning and Matt Ryan were my first half quarterbacks that were cashing tickets left and right. But you hit it on the head. This is a whole different team this year, whole different Peyton Manning, and what they're asking him to do is certainly different from years past. So I don't have any room to refute that. And I'm still scratching my head over Carolina, the way they have blown out opponents early. And Wade Phillips, I don't know if that guy's gotten any sleep whatsoever since the championship game, because he's got his hands full to put together a game plan to stop this team. So very interesting. 12-3, if I'm correct, on 15 first halves against the spread. That is absolutely amazing, and that's a hell of a pattern. Now, when you look at that
13
total,
and 2, Mike.
what's that?
Actually 13-2.
13-2. That's even, my goodness. Yeah, that's probably one of the stronger first half stats that I've seen in years, and good for you to pick that up. How do you feel about that total, which is set at 22.5?
This is a little tougher of a call. I mean, you're looking at a Carolina team that's gone 9-2 over the total during first half action in their last 11 games. And then on the other side of the coin, Denver has played on the underside in the first half. As a matter of fact, if you look at Denver in the first half of their last four games, they've only averaged 9 points per game, and they've also allowed 14 points or less in their last seven games during the first half. Carolina, we're talking about how fast they start. Well, not only is their offense in high gear in the first half, but their defense as well. Mike, they've allowed just 7 points or less in their last six games in the first half. Now, having said that, something's got to give. And I'm looking at the last few games. Carolina did score a plethora of points in the first half, especially in the two playoff games. But a lot of that was derived from turnovers. Seattle turned the ball over, I believe, 5 times in the first half of the playoff loss to Carolina, and I believe that Arizona turned it over 3 or 4 times. I don't have that specific figure. My point being, a lot of that was Carolina was able to not only score on defense, but also able to create a short field for their offense. That's not to take anything away from the Carolina offense, but the amount of points they scored in the first half might be a little bit misleading in that regard. If Denver can stay away from the turnovers, I'm looking at this being a low-scoring first half. I'm going to take a small chance here by going under the total of 22.5 in the first half of the Super Bowl.
What you just brought to the light is very valid, especially for the bettor that's thinking, wait a minute, they're just mesmerized at all the points they scored. This defense for Denver is definitely different. It's a different team, so you might have something there. I just can't get over how much attention the offense is getting for Carolina, and rightfully so, spectacular season, but very quietly, that defense is playing some very good ball, and you touched on that as well. Let's not forget Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron as Gruden calls him. He is a defensive guru, all right? He was a part of the 85 Bears. That guy is a beast. He was a linebacker, and he's a player's coach. So as good as that offense is, and it's fantastic, that defense is not bad at all. So that might be a sharp call, 22.5 under. I like it. Viewers, you just heard some very good information for some first half bets on the Super Bowl. Ross Benjamin is going with Carolina -3 on the first half, and then has a slight lean on the total under 22.5 on the first half. Very interesting, Ross, and I appreciate your input. And listen, I hope this weekend you beat the book hard. Enjoy Super Bowl weekend, and we'll talk with you again real soon, my friend.
I look forward to it, Mike. Thank you for having me.